We don't understand French.
Sorry.
So this last session was a little bit of a mystery, but it was very nice to look at the lovely young Japanese woman.
Hello. Hi. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. This is the first time I've ever tried to say that. Hopefully not the last time.
And I can say je m'appelle Mads, and that is Johan.
And we are going to talk a bit about this project, the table, which is down there, and we call it the Doghouse, or in Danish, Skammekrogen. And Skammekrogen directly translates into the nook of shame.
Where you go if you are supposed to feel ashamed, your mother says, go into the corner.
Or in school, you know, when you behave really badly. And
what is that in French?
Is there a name for that in French?
Okay, go to the corner. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it means.
Yeah, okay. But the same thing is was a bit important to us because that's thematically a thing of it, of the whole project. But maybe okay. Let's start with the very beginning. A couple of years ago, I realized something that I haven't really thought of before. And because I was talking to my brother, and I always had this idea that my brother and we had the same image of our mother, and the same stories, the same ideas, the same image of her, of who she was, of who she is, and we both we've had a lot of problems with our mom because she drinks a bit too much, and she can really makes us feel shameful, and you know, and I guess a lot of, I don't know if it's only a guy thing or girls feel that too, but your mother, she can really, wow, she can make you angry, and I've spending a lot of my life being angry with my mother, but then I realized talking to my brother that. That actually he did not have the same image of my mother as I did. I'm not proud of this realization, I must say, but it was a big realization to me that my brother he did not have the same image of my mother as I had. And then I sort of realized that maybe my image of my mother isn't the right image. I mean, isn't the whole image of my mother. And that sort of, when Mads and I was talking about making a project together 2 years ago, we talked about this thing about our mothers and how we feel about them, and at that time I decided that I wanted to learn how to love my mother, and I had the feeling that I wanted to learn, I wanted to know how it was to be my mother. I wanted to be inside my mother, not like that, of course, but. In an emotional way, and I realized, of course, because of what my brother and the discussion that we had about, you know, then I realized that there needs to be. I cannot tell the story of my mother if I'm only seeing it from her perspective or from my own perspective. If I want to tell the story about my mother, I need to tell it from all the perspectives. And you take it from here, Mads.
And so we had discovered this new medium called virtual reality. Why we're all gathered here today, and that gave us the opportunity to actually step inside the characters of a family, to step inside mother at the end of the table, to step inside Johan, or in this case Jakob, his new girlfriend, and the father. To see the mother from all perspectives at the same time, or at one per each audience member. But to understand her completely, we needed all 5 perspectives, also Julius, the little brother. And these are the 5 perspectives that you will be able to experience if you try the Doghouse as one of the 5 lucky people, I guess, that are going to try it. But the interesting thing is that in order to do this as filmmakers, that's our background. We needed to construct the story. We needed to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
So this is kind of a new way to make a movie. I mean, in a film you have like a screen, and then you tell the story from there's a hero and there's a villain and there's helpers, and you know. But in this case, we needed to do it quite differently. And every time you wear the glasses and you are a character, you are the hero of your own story. And there's a hero and there's a villain. But when you change character, you are a new hero, and there's a new villain. And so we needed to do that quite differently. We wrote 5 different scripts, a script for each of the character, which is a story in itself. But it's the same situation, it's the same scene, it's the same dialogue, but the story about the whole dinner table is different from each of the perspectives, which means that, of course, if you want the whole story, you would need to see all the perspectives.
So this is what it's like to be Karen, the mother. Just a quick look.
Vi har altid været meget glade for mad her i familien. At det er meget skægt.
Sound, please.
Might be my
Man
sound.
kan faktisk ikke se det på, man har altid spist meget. Ja. Han fik også bryst, da han var 4.
I guess you get the picture. Being the mother is quite awkward. So, just quickly moving on from this. This is there's no more sound, so it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I know. There's no more sound in the presentation. So being able to do this, we needed to do some stuff in order to film a point of view. And of course, we've all seen now ways of filming in 360 or filming in virtual reality. But we didn't have those means of just going out and getting production finance. So we had to build our own cameras. This is an actor. He's the older brother, and we just put 2 cameras next to each other, and it actually works really well as a set of eyes. And we put binaural microphones inside the ears, and suddenly you could hear exactly what the actors were hearing. And when we shot the film, each character was wearing these goggles for a one take of 18 minutes, where the whole scene was playing out. This is some behind-the-scene footage of when we were shooting, which I think is interesting because we really had to create another reality when we were doing the filming. We had to create a scene, a setting, a dinner table, but we had to clear away everyone from the film crew. So the whole entire house that we were filming in was exactly like it would be if these people were at a dinner together, except one of them was wearing this really weird helmet with cameras.
We called it the monkey.
Someone had to wear the monkey.
Yeah.
And during the process where I'm in front of the actors who's wearing the cameras, and Johan is wearing the headset and live directing what's going to happen, we realized there was this very, very weird sensation of like being a ghost, of feeling that Johan was looking through the eyes of someone else, and this otherness came about everything in the shooting. It was very eerie sensation.
Yeah, you have to understand, of course, that when you put the cameras here in the front of the actors and the actors move about, we as an audience we experience as if we look through the eyes of the character. But actually, when you are just moving around and you're looking everywhere and turning your head like this, that's not an optimal situation for as a passenger to look through the eyes. So we had to. I mean, that would really make somebody motion sick. we had to, the actors, besides from just being actors and not just being, but from besides acting and trying to convey their part, they also had to be cameramen. They also had to move in a specific way so that when I was directing it, I wasn't feeling seasick. Otherwise, if they were just like this, I would vomit all over the place. And as Mads said, this creates. It was a really strange experience, and to have another human being as the medium of your story or of your communication.
So when shooting this, we also realized that because we had shot in this weird way where the presence of the spectator became physical in some sense, we became the body of the actor. We manifested into the body, and we had a physical presence and felt the body language. We also felt we needed a new way to exhibit this type of film. So we created our own little virtual cinema where 5 people can sit around a table, the same table as in the film, the same tablecloth, the same service, the same glass. And so in some ways, with a connection like an umbilical cord to the fiction, we put audience members very, very, very close to the actual physical presence of the story.
And we had the experience of when we did like traditional films before. We had the experience that the audience would come out of the cinema and start talking about that film was really good shot, or the actors were really good, or the editing was smart, or framing. They were really clever. The audience was so clever, and we didn't really like that. We wanted it to be a more physical experience. We wanted it to be like. They should come out and say, I felt this about the character, or the character made me feel this or this. We wanted it to be more about feelings, more about emotions, instead of being clever about technique. So the whole thing about using the props from the film and make the whole thing, how you say, tangible. And physical, so you could actually, it was like you were there.
And also one very important thing about this dinner was that we could somehow build a 3-act structure around the experience of this whole project. Because not only is this a virtual reality film, it's also when you step up to a table and you meet the 4 people that you're going to sit down and have dinner with, and you ritually sit down and everyone knows what that's about, and that's the first act. Then you have your virtual experience, but then in the 3rd act of this experience, you take your goggles off and you have time to talk with the 4 other audience members who have had 4 different perspectives than you have. And so in conclusion, because we're running out of time.
Did you get the signal? I didn't get the
I got the signal from David right now, yeah. We're going to be very funny and leave you with this little question or a little remark that, as we all know, art is in the eye of the beholder, or beauty is. But what we realized through this project is perhaps that art is in, or it's reality that is in the eye of the beholder. So we're looking forward to the 5 people who are going to try and come back and tell us about their experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Should we choose 5?
Who's up?
Who's already been chosen?
They're already chosen.
Oui, donc